legal win for a Chatham-Kent councillor.
I'm very happy. I'm pleased with the decision.
Ontario courts overturned part of a ruling on controversial social media posts. Tackling youth unemployment.
I put over 100 applications in.
A one-stop shop connecting youth with local business. And learning how to live with a prosthetic.
Now I get to chase my kids and say, don't make me take my foot off.
A Windsor amputee has a new leg and a new lease on life.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us, and hello to those listening to us on AM 800. A Chatham-Kent councillor is feeling vindicated after a court partially overturned a pay suspension she faced earlier this term. CTV's Travis Fortnum has been following this file since it started, and joining us from Chatham tonight is Travis. Now, Travis, this is a ruling 2 years in the making.
That's right, Stefanie. This all stems back to 2023. That's when Councillor Rhonda Jubenville pushed for restrictions around flag raisings, which brought a wave of complaints, a council suspension, and now a court decision. After nearly 2 years of political drama, Chatham-Kent councillor Rhonda Jubenville is celebrating, at least in part, a win.
I'm very happy. I'm pleased with the decision.
The decision she is talking about comes from a panel of Ontario judges who overturned part of a report that led to her being suspended without pay back in 2023. Chatham-Kent's Integrity Commissioner found Jubenville breached council's code of conduct over a failed motion to limit which flags fly at municipal buildings, a motion she says was misunderstood.
In my opinion, I feel like my motion was hijacked, and some people felt that I was targeting them, but that was never the intention.
After the motion was defeated, Jubenville made a series of social media posts, which the commissioner ruled were inappropriate and warranted a 3-month pay suspension. But those judges have now overturned part of that finding, ruling it was unreasonable to say councillors can't keep advocating after a vote or speak out on issues beyond council's control, though a separate finding still stands, that some posts crossed the line into abuse or intimidation.
I would have been happy if I was completely exonerated, I guess you could say, but I think it's a positive direction where the outcome will go.
The court set aside council's decision and sent the matter back to the Integrity Commissioner, who will now decide if a penalty is still warranted.
The code of conduct needs to be precise.
Governance expert Richard LeBlanc says the case should prompt municipalities to tighten up their policies.
The clarity of the code and the process are very important, because as an integrity commissioner, you really want to bulletproof yourself.
Jubenville tells CTV News Chatham-Kent's code has already been updated since this all began as part of a regularly mandated review.
I'm just glad that I can work together with my colleagues on council, and I'm hopeful that we can put this behind us and work together and on things that are important in Chatham-Kent.
The municipality says it won't comment until legal counsel has reviewed the decision and did not provide a response by deadline. Now, Jubenville says she's not exactly clear on where things go from here because it is referred back to the municipality's Integrity Commissioner, but that is not the same Integrity Commissioner who was in the role back when this started in 2023. So she says whatever happens, in the meantime, she will continue to do the work as she has through this process that she was elected to do. Stefanie.
Okay, Travis Fortnum with our top story tonight. Thank you for this, Travis. In other news, a Chatham-Kent man has been arrested for sharing images of child sexual abuse. Police say the 41-year-old was sharing the images on the social media platform Kick Messenger. Several electronic devices were seized during the search of a residence. Those devices were analyzed, and police allege the man was also purchasing material online. He's being charged with possession, accessing, and making child pornography in a written format. 2 homes were damaged in a late-night fire in Chatham. The fire department responding to 87 Gray Street a little after 10 p.m., where they found flames coming from 2 homes. Crews worked swiftly to contain and extinguish the blaze, preventing further spread. No injuries were reported. The estimated damage to both buildings is between $500,000 and $600,000. The Office of the Fire Marshal has been notified, and Chatham-Kent fire inspectors are currently on scene. Windsor police are tonight sounding the alarm over a sharp rise in vehicle thefts, with 11 reported in just the past week. Police in Windsor are calling it a concerning trend.
It's happening all across Windsor, not in one area in particular.
During the week of July 22nd to the 28th, officers responded to 11 vehicle thefts, a 57% increase compared to the same time last year. 6 of those vehicles were left unlocked with the keys left inside.
This remains one of the most common ways that vehicles are being stolen.
Police calling on the public to be vigilant. The loss is covered by insurance, even if the keys are left in the vehicle, but only if a driver has comprehensive coverage. But
a lot of times we have personal belongings in our car. That's not covered under your car insurance. That's covered under your property insurance. So then now you don't have one claim, you have 2 claims. So it's not something you want to deal with.
Police confirm 9 of the 11 recent thefts were recovered. To prevent this hassle, there are some simple steps to take.
Always ensure that your vehicle remains locked, even if you're stepping away for just a moment. Never leave your vehicle running, and never leave the keys or the key fob in the vehicle. And you always want to try to park in well-lit areas when possible, and you want to try to utilize parking garages and secure parking facilities whenever possible.
On a broader scale, since the beginning of 2025, Windsor police recorded 350 vehicle thefts. That is slightly down from 374 reported at this time last year. Police are reminding the public, if you do witness a theft in progress, call 911. If there's no indication the suspect is still around, call the non-emergency line and report the incident online.
It's easier to be, safe rather than sorry.
After a brief hiatus, the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit is reporting another case of measles and another possible location for public exposure. The exposure point on Saturday afternoon was at the Real Canadian Superstore in Leamington. The health unit asks anyone, particularly those that are unvaccinated, pregnant, or immunocompromised, to complete a risk assessment. An update now on a story we first brought you in March about a Windsor woman whose leg was amputated after a serious vehicle collision in Chatham-Kent. Tonight, not even 10 months later, she has a new prosthetic leg and a driver's license. CTV's Michelle Molesky reports.
Now I get to chase my kids and say, don't make me take my foot off.
Kim Labonte lost her right leg in October 2024. Less than 10 months later, she's learning how to live with a prosthetic.
It's kind of a love-hate relationship so far.
Love because of this.
I can finally do the stairs. I love that I can stand up and walk and stand up to put my clothes away and just stand up and walk.
Labonte quips she's forgotten how tall she is.
When we are out and about and I'm in my chair, I'm at everybody's butt level. When I finally get to stand up, it's like, oh my God, that's what it looks like up here.
On the other hand, her phantom pains are back.
My leg hasn't had any weight on it for 9 months. When I put it on in the morning, even though my toes are silicone, I feel my toes move.
It's exhausting learning how to walk again, she says. 3 blocks does her in, but she never gives up.
I got my driver's license back. I can now drive with my left foot.
Labonte is waiting on the insurance company to settle her claim so she can buy a new car and get back behind the wheel, even though she says it was an inattentive driver who caused these injuries in the first place. Labonte hopes her story motivates drivers to focus on the road every time.
I just want people to open up their eyes. It takes 1 second. I almost lost my life.
In Windsor, Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
Gary Archibald joins me now for a first look at the weather tonight. And Gary, we have rain in the forecast.
Rain in the forecast. Good evening, Stephanie. Folks, Heat and humidity combining, those two elements obviously in the summer season to produce the clouds we see here, and they're producing some of the showers across parts of Ohio and Michigan. And with this front pushing from west to east across the region, we're anticipating as I speak through, say, 8-9 p.m. tonight, some significant areas covered across the region with thunderstorm potential, gusty winds, and obviously the rainfall. We need it on the ground for growers, our lawns and gardens, but could see some localized ponding on area roads, so do be careful. I'll break down where things are headed for the long weekend, weather-wise, just ahead.
The work is now underway on a water well in Wheatley. It's believed to be the source of recent gas emissions that prompted an evacuation last month. The municipality says crews unearthed a 6-inch metal casing in the area near the library on Talbot Street West, consistent with a water well mentioned in historical records. A new pipe was installed to extend that casing to the surface. Officials confirmed the leak on June 26th was hydrogen sulfide, the same gas responsible for the 2021 explosion. Once the size and depth of the well are confirmed, a drilling rig will begin plugging the well. It is estimated the work could take between 7 to 10 days. An in-person community meeting is scheduled for Thursday at 7:30 at the Wheatley Village Resource Center. Contract negotiations at Titan Tool and Die on Howard are not going well, according to the union. The company stamps out auto parts. Unifor Local 195 President Emile Nabout says the company needs to change their bargaining strategy, or this will be a long labor dispute. Back in April, employees tried to stop truckloads of equipment from leaving the plant. The union says the trucks were bound for a Titan factory in Michigan. Titan's lawyers, however, argued successfully in court they are contractually obligated to return tooling equipment back to its American owner. About 20 people work at Titan, another 40 are on layoff. The youth unemployment rate in the city of Windsor was a staggering 18.2% in 2024, the highest in Canada. A $189,000 Ontario Trillium Foundation grant has helped Workforce Windsor Essex roll out new initiatives that could help bring that number down and help the younger generation land on their feet. CTV's Bob Belichico explains.
I put over 100 applications in.
And nothing.
No, nothing.
Batista Cervini didn't let that deter him. The 16-year-old started washing cars in his driveway.
I had to be the job myself.
Word spread, and Ross Hickling, who had been looking for help for almost a year, offered him a job on the spot.
Of course, you're going to hire him right on the spot. He's energetic, he's passionate.
I got some job offers, and I really like this place here, and I accepted it here.
A new website was launched earlier today by Workforce Windsor Essex, which will essentially centralize opportunities and positions that are available for students, youth, and teenagers like Cervini. This website will also help business owners who have positions that are vacant. The portal is a one-stop shop linked to the Workforce Windsor Essex job page.
If I had an app to go to and there's young people that were looking for work and training, I'm there. A lot easier to work with that.
Currently, there are up to 80 jobs available that don't require post-secondary education or prior work experience. The goal is to ease the exploration process and allow youth to find resources as easily as possible.
Usually if you go to a job board, you'll see thousands of jobs, and none of them are jobs that youth can apply for. They're underqualified or they don't have the education. So we just remove that barrier completely.
The portal will help connect youth with community resources, including mental health, housing, health, and safety. An oversaturated market can leave overqualified workers taking youth-focused jobs. Now, according to project coordinator Mikhail Fakhreddin, there is a misconception that this generation is comprised of lazy workers who may lack soft skills like communication, teamwork, and adaptability.
Sometimes it is really just a preconceived notion that they don't work as hard as adults, or this generation doesn't work as hard as the last, but that we find that with every generation.
The youth unemployment rate is on average 2.4% higher than the unemployment rate for those 25 and over. Batista admits the job market isn't easy, but says you have to persevere.
Everything does work out in the end.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Here's our question of the day. Do you know a youth who is struggling to find a summer job? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you have been impacted by construction across Windsor-Essex. Out of just shy of 600 votes, 79% say yes, they have. Now, there's a vacant seat for Ward 2 in Windsor City Council, and a by-election is coming up to fill it. Brian Green is the latest person to put his name forward. His priorities include safer streets, infrastructure investment, and fair taxes. You can find a list of who is running in the by-election at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Candidates do have until 2 p.m. on September 12th to register. A major construction project in LaSalle is set to begin on Front Road in August. From Room Road to Boismere Avenue, the work includes the installation of underground stormwater pipes, storm chambers, manholes, catch basins, and 2 new pump stations to be installed in 2026, one at G. Craig Park and one near the River Dance building on the water. Expect traffic along Front Road to be reduced to 2 lanes and turning restrictions in place. Lanes will reopen this winter and be reduced once again in the spring to complete the project. The Legacy Beacon has been open to the public for 3 months now, and the city says over 19,000 people have visited it and the city's streetcar at the same time. The Beacon features a pavilion and a 10,000-foot patio along the riverfront near Karen Avenue. But the main focal point is the 50-foot-long, 24,000-pound streetcar honoring the city's transportation past. The city says while a lot of people are making a pointed visit to the site, some are stumbling across it. Visitors can step on board and get a tour of the streetcar and learn its history with the Sandwich, Windsor, and Amherstburg Railway. Punishing impact of Trump's trade war still ahead on Windsor's news leader. The key decision amid economic uncertainty. Seismic warning and the rush to evacuate more than 20 countries. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. There is no rate relief coming for Canadian borrowers just yet. The Bank of Canada opted to stay the course today. It's the 3rd time in a row the benchmark interest rate remained at 2.75%. Among the reasons behind that decision, as CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, are more tariff threats from Donald Trump.
Uncertainty over the future of the Canada-U.S. trade war is clouding the economic outlook in this country, prompting the central bank to again hold its key interest rate at 2.75%.
Growth in spending by Canadian businesses and households is being restrained by uncertainty, and new U.S. tariffs are having profound impacts on directly affected sectors.
Today, this country's top banker said future inflation projections hinge on the outcome of the ongoing cross-border trade talks.
The tariffs have a permanent effect on the economy unless they're removed.
The decision was widely forecasted by the big banks, but came as a shock to Ontario Premier Doug Ford. He said staring down the economic uncertainty, it's never been more important to stimulate growth, and called on the central bank to cut interest rates now.
How would you respond to that?
Look, we take our decisions independently of the political process. We are going to make sure that a tariff problem does not become an inflation problem.
That tariff problem only growing today, with U.S. President Donald Trump announcing 50% tariffs on certain copper imports, citing national security. The sudden announcement adding to the pressure Prime Minister Mark Carney and his cabinet are facing. With the clock ticking and no new trade pact in sight, economists say there's a lot riding on Canada getting a good deal.
That's why I think, you're seeing Canada sort of running the clock.
Though Trump's envoy to Canada still thinks there's a chance of an agreement by Friday.
It's Wednesday today, so you've got at least 48 hours and maybe up to 72 hours, but a lot of things happen at a close of a negotiation.
That time for Canadian companies like Algoma Steel is of the essence. Today, the company suspended its dividend after posting major losses, saying tariffs played a large part. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Donald Trump also today signing an executive order that ends a tariff loophole that allowed low-cost goods to be imported into the U.S. duty-free. Shipments of goods worth $800 or less will now be subject to duties based on the value of the package and country of origin. The White House says it is ending the so-called de minimis provision, arguing that countries have used it to smuggle drugs and evade tariffs. The impact on Canada is currently unclear, but a Detroit-based auto parts retailer had gone to court to block this move, calling it unlawful. And Trump is taking aim at India, too, hitting that country with a 25% tariff on goods. He says India purchases military equipment and energy, such as oil, from Russia, enabling the war in Ukraine. So he will be imposing an additional penalty, a secondary tariff as of August 1st, although he has yet to reveal how much that sanction will be. The Ontario government has torn up its $100 million contract with Elon Musk's Starlink internet service. The deal was supposed to provide internet to around 15,000 homes in northern Ontario. Now, Ontario will now have to pay an unknown fee to break the deal, but the province says it is considerably less than the original contract. One of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded sent millions of people into panic mode. The quake, an 8.8 magnitude, hit last night in far eastern Russia, triggering tsunami warnings along the British Columbian coast. Here's CTV's Andrew Johnson.
It started with shaking in eastern Russia, and within hours, one of the largest earthquakes in modern history triggered tsunami warnings and evacuations in more than 20 countries.
It's almost impossible to describe just how large an earthquake of this magnitude is.
In Japan, millions of people were told to evacuate to higher ground. Some were seen moving to the top of tall buildings. In Hawaii, the rush to evacuate clogged roads.
It's an easy thing. Get away from the beaches, get inland, and get upward.
The tsunami risk on Canada's west coast was lower, but still enough to trigger a tsunami advisory. The province warned of strong waves and currents that could cause flooding. In Tofino, on Vancouver Island, beaches were closed. Water levels ended up rising less than half a meter.
It's not even just a wave, it's more like the tide coming in, and it keeps coming in. Even if a wave is half a meter, it can continue inland to much greater elevations.
BC's emergency management minister says alerts were not sent out to cell phones, but would have been if the advisory rose to a warning level. The premier says the system worked as expected.
The province, local governments, regional districts all work together to ensure people are safe. It was a good trial run for us. So if we do see a major event in the future, we know we have a system that should work to deliver that warning.
Experts are calling this a wake-up call for people to think about their personal preparedness in a province overdue for a major earthquake much closer to home. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
New data is outlining how hard Canada's cap on foreign student visas is hitting southwestern Ontario colleges. There's been a significant drop in international enrollment as colleges cut both jobs and programs.
Just over 8,500 international students are enrolled at Conestoga College this semester, a drastic drop from more than 22,600 last spring.
We can see the difference in the number of students that we're seeing on site. So I'm not surprised.
Vicky Poirier is the president of a local union representing full-time and part-time support staff at the college, a sector that saw around 180 jobs slashed earlier this year.
Some of that work isn't gone. It's there now, and it's unfortunately being absorbed by our members.
She says the college is moving backwards by cutting back in areas that need the most support.
Our writing consultants, our scheduling area, our student success advisors, those are student services. Those are roles that provide support to students.
As for whether the cuts were warranted,
we don't know where things are at right now. So we can't even say that the cuts that were made to our job force were supported.
But as international enrollment falls, the number of domestic students is on the rise. The college reporting a 28% increase in domestic enrollment this spring, with nearly 3,500 students. Fall confirmations are up by almost 15%, college president John Tibbetts says in a statement to CTV News. We will continue adjusting operations to enrollment and remain optimistic for the future.
It'll be interesting to see how the areas and the campuses look in September. I mean, I don't think our students are going to get the services or the quality and the quantity of services that were available before July.
Alexandra Holick, CTV News.
It's North America's oldest continuous sporting event, and today the 207th Royal St. John Regatta took to the waters off of Newfoundland. Thousands came to watch and, of course, cheer.
Just like the name of this traditional Newfoundland march, everyone's up the pond today to eat, play,
$2 a ticket at 200,
and try their luck in a game of chance.
I've never won these. I haven't been here since I was a kid. It feels pretty good. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to win anything ever in my lifetime ever again.
It's the biggest event of the year in Newfoundland and Labrador. Organizers estimate 50,000 people come down to Kitty Bitty Lake for the action.
Well, I went to one of the ticket things, and I only spent $2, and I got it right away.
It's never a sure thing. The races, the public holiday, and this massive crowd are all contingent on the weather.
It's not like every single 15-year-old gets to play in a band at the Regatta, so I think that's pretty cool.
Today, there were no complaints. Most of these vendors are linked with charitable organizations. One of the most popular, the Hindu Temple Food Stand, which has become a tradition among Regatta attendees.
I think because we make fresh food and it's yummy and we make it with love.
The Hindu temple is my favorite. It's all vegetarian. Now the kids want the butter chicken, so we went to Shalimar, and they're fantastic too. They're great.
Try your luck for just a buck. It's a huge fundraising day, and for everyone else, a chance to make some lasting memories. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
Checking the markets in Toronto, the TSX dropped 169 points. Mixed results in New York as the Dow was off 171, the Nasdaq gained 31. The dollar was down 1/5 cent. Gold lost $28.40 an ounce and oil rose 79 cents per barrel. Vision delivered. Coming up, a bold new vision for healthcare, taking eye care on the road, and seniors are seeing the difference.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Mark here for this lovely scenic. Just ahead, will rain and wind be the dominant features tonight and tomorrow? Where are temperatures headed for the long weekend? We'll find out next on CTV News Windsor.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Warm day outside. Gary joins me again.
Now we're in the midst of thunderstorm watches and warnings. We're going to see a bit of both over the next couple of hours. Late afternoon, we saw the showers, if you will, moving through southern parts of Michigan. Today was a warm day, but we're going to cool off once this cold front associated with this atmospheric disturbance moves through our region of the lower Great Lakes. We reached a high of 30.3 degrees Celsius. Our average high is 28. We're holding close to about 28, 29 in the city of Windsor. That's 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Cooler in Chatham-Kent, closer to 25, 26, 77 degrees Fahrenheit there. And then, of course, we're dealing with some humidity. It has felt a lot warmer of late. The last week and a half has been at times sweltering. Still a warm day today, but not enough to elicit the warnings, the heat warnings, but it's felt like the mid-30s. We're warming up across British Columbia, the prairies, into the Great Lakes region. Today has been a warm day yet again, the hot spot in southern Ontario. A couple of things point out, obviously a massive area of low pressure, and along this boundary, showers and thunderstorms moving through parts of Michigan, upper Indiana, as well as Ohio, reporting significant wind gusts with thunderstorm activity. And of course, we're in the midst of this developing situation. Could see wind gusts in the 50K range. The rains tonight through supper time now into the next couple of hours. We need the moisture on the ground for growers, planters, gardens, lawns, etc. But some areas could see some ponding. The tallies could be in that 20 to 40 millimeter range. That would be considered a moderate to moderately high event. So rain tonight, rain tomorrow. Tomorrow cools off those significantly as we take a look at our 7-day forecast, courtesy of our friends at Siles Heating and Cooling. I'm calling for showers through the morning, midday, and afternoon, tapering off in the evening. 24 degrees, 3 degrees below seasonal. And then sunny for Friday, 24. Sunshine for Saturday, Sunday, and possibly Monday, Tuesday, with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. A week from now, warming up though, Tuesday into Wednesday, 29 and 28, and likely still sunny.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
A new report says Canada is falling behind when it comes to supporting people with dementia. The Brainwell Institute says it takes an average of 2 years for patients to get a diagnosis, and services are fragmented. It also says dementia contributes to an estimated $25 billion in lost productivity due to the demands placed on caregivers.
Once you get that diagnosis, if you even get it, there's really nowhere else to go. There's no supports for people to understand how they can manage it better. And when you think about dementia overall, it's a collection of over 100 different neurological diseases. People can live up to 8 years with this disease. So they need access to treatments, diagnostics, and better rehabilitative care. In Canada, unfortunately, while it has invested in a national dementia strategy, when it comes to the care component and the coordination through the health system, we're really falling behind.
The Institute is calling for the creation of a Canadian dementia coordinating body to guide policy, a national implementation plan with clear targets, and a commitment to long-term funding. An optometrist in PEI is hitting the road, turning long-term care homes into pop-up clinics, and seniors are seeing the benefits.
I think the second.
77-year-old Blanche Westaway doesn't know when she last got her eyes checked.
You don't want to go blind. A lot of people are doing this.
You're a pro.
And they should be.
That's not so rare at this long-term care home, or others like it, says optometrist Jessica Wood.
I've heard 20 years, I've heard never. I have put lenses in front of patients' eyes and had them say, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could see this well.
That's why in April, Wood hit the road, taking her services straight to seniors, reaching them in rural communities. She says eye disease rates rise with age, but checkups become less likely.
We're going to try both eyes open.
Even though timely care can keep their world in focus.
I think you can see that one, right?
Wood got $37,500 from the provincial government's Health Innovation Fund, which covered the bulk of her costs. But she's invested $20,000 of her own money into this work.
It matters to me a lot. I know that the farther that you are from Summerside or Charlottetown, the harder it is to get services.
Mobility challenges make it difficult. The last time Robert Gamble took his mom to the eye doctor, he had to arrange an accessible taxi both ways.
Whole production took maybe about 3 hours, and this was maybe 30 minutes, so it was quick and easy.
98-year-old Olga Gamble has cataracts, so now they're considering surgery.
I still do all my puzzles and things like that, crossword puzzles and number puzzles.
Wood says she set her sights on the rest of Western PEI's care homes, determined to get patients the care they need, no matter where they live. Maria Saru, CTV News, Summerside, Prince Edward Island.
Social media ad scams. Think that deal on social media is too good to be true? Well, it probably is. Coming up on Windsor's News Leader, tips on how to avoid such scams.
Pure Country 89, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
A warning from police. Beware of social media ads promoting products at prices that seem too good to be true. As CTV's Pat Thorne reports, more often than not, it's a scam.
Well, it seemed greatly discounted.
Keith Edwards of Bowmanville says he was on Facebook when he noticed an ad for an electric bike. It had a list price of $900 US, but was heavily discounted to just $92.
Who wouldn't want a bargain for an e-bike that looked solid? I'm a regular cyclist, and I just thought this would be a great help.
Edwards bought the bike in January, and after 6 months of trying to contact the company and getting nowhere, he's resigned to the fact he'll probably never get it and was scammed.
This type of discounted, severely discounted products that are totally bogus.
CTV News has done stories on social media ads involving the sale of mobility scooters, lawn mowers, and garden sheds that are all sold at extremely low prices but never show up. Sometimes luxury clothing will arrive, but it's actually a cheap knockoff.
York Regional Police recently posted a warning about a social media scam involving hot air balloon rides. You could pay $45 in advance to ride in a hot air balloon, but when victims showed up at a local park, no one was there.
There were no balloons set up. There's no staff from this Candle Experience company on site to assist them with their purchase.
Police issued the warning to remind people just because something is for sale on a social media website, it doesn't mean it's legit.
You have to be mindful of ads that do pop up.
To avoid sponsored ad scams, confirm you're on a legitimate website, use caution buying through social media shops, contact a company in advance of a purchase, be suspicious of massive discounts and deals that seem too good to be true. CTV News contacted Meta, the parent company of Facebook, about the bike ad Edwards used, but we did not get a response. He plans to be more careful in the future.
I just urge other consumers to be duly warned.
Pat Thorne, CTV News.
The Home of Metal honored the life of Ozzy Osbourne today. Thousands lined the funeral procession route in Birmingham, England, to pay their respects to the Black Sabbath frontman. Fans have made pilgrimages to the sites around Birmingham since Osbourne's death was announced. The Crazy Train singer died last week at the age of 76 following years of health struggles. A local documentary about one of the worst workplace tragedies in Ontario's history is halfway done.
On August 14, 1957, right here in Dresden, Ontario, an excavation collapsed. 6 men were buried alive. It was Ontario's worst workplace tragedy. But today, this story is unknown.
Filmmaker Eric Philpott has spent the last 2.5 years on the documentary titled Dresden Explosion 1957. 6 Dutch immigrants died that day. Philpott's own father, Keith, was an engineer on the project who warned the owners the area was not safe. Keith Philpott saved all of his records, so now 68 years later, he is helping Eric document not only what happened, but the impact it had on the lives of the people who died in Dresden. Philpott is trying to raise $200,000 needed for editing the film and laying down a soundtrack. More importantly, he feels he needs to see his project through to public screenings or broadcasting as a warning that workplace deaths continue to happen, but they don't have to.
If a story of this magnitude can disappear, how are we ever going to be a society that will honor an individual life that's lost in the workplace? So I'm really hoping this is a kind of a bit of a wake up for all of us, that this issue is happening, it's still happening, and that the families, the least they should get from the rest of us is recognition, awareness.
Do you have a story idea? We want to hear from you. Text us at 10400. You can also send photos and video as well.
I like it. Unscripted, unpredictable, and unapologetic. Wake up with Hannah and Johnny on 93.9 Virgin Radio.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. On Saturday, August 16th, join in on the fun at Burt Weeks Garden for the Tim Hortons Night Run for Maryvale, presented by the Running Factory. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Kate Otterbein. And Kate, the Gordie Howe International Bridge team walked away with some awards for their work.
2 to be specific. Over the last couple of months, it's been busy with ceremonies. In May, the team's engineering consultant received the Willis Chipman Award, the biggest of the show, for its work on the design and construction of the bridge. In June, they were given the Outstanding Technical Achievement Award, recognizing leadership in environmental, social, and governance practices. Read more on what the team had to say about the awards online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And an Amherstburg man is $100,000 richer after a recent lottery draw.
Yes, the lucky winner is Cody Northgrave. Northgrave has played the lottery for almost 15 years and struck it big in May when he won a Lotto 649 draw. He's taking home just over $100,000. The ticket was bought at Lynn's Variety in Amherstburg, and Northgrave plans to take a vacation and invest in his future with the money. Read his reaction on our website. And in our social spotlight tonight, these 3 ladies wanted to have some fun, so they decided to stop by the fire hall.
You can ask the flowers, I sit for hours, telling all the bluebirds,
What is more fun than flirting with some firefighters? These seniors look like they're having an absolute blast, chatting up the men and watching them work. This took place in Toronto. Stefanie, we all know your husband is a firefighter. Have any local ladies chatted him up while he's on the job?
I'm absolutely sure that is the case. I do know for sure when it comes to Christmas time and they are selling the firefighter calendars for the new year at places like Devonshire Mall, Walmart, there is a lot of excitement there for sure.
I bet. Who can resist?
You're absolutely right. Okay, thanks, Kate. And that's what's happening now.
Thanks.
It's a quirky tradition on Sheep Island. When we return, we'll show you the summer retreat for a footloose flock.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
We'll have to deal with some rain before a beautiful stretch over the weekend. Gary joins me again.
Winds were starting to pick up this afternoon, indicative of this boundary moving through. Windy tonight, even windier through the overnight, potentially 3, 4, 5 a.m. and then more rains to come for a windy Thursday. A high of only 24. That's 3 degrees below seasonal. That's the colder air moving in, displacing this much warmer air. Sunshine, though, is the story. Friday through the weekend, the long weekend, and through to Tuesday, Wednesday of next week will be mid-20s and then upper 20s as we head towards next week.
Okay, and Gary, for decades, a small flock in Newfoundland, sheep, they've been spending their summers on an island of their own where every summer they're free to roam. CTV's Garrett Berry brings us there.
A house call like no other, as his father and grandfather did before Keith Morey boards this boat to care for his flock on Ship Island. Here, the sheep roam free from predators and free to graze on salty, windswept grass that Maury believes improves the animal's flavor when the lambs get to the plate.
Coyotes are so numerous now, and they're getting bolder all the time. They're out in the middle of the day. It's just, this for us, this is a godsend, having this safe haven.
It's a cooperative of sorts. A handful of farmers share this island near Torscove in Newfoundland and share the labor of upkeep. It takes all of them, and more besides, to herd the animals, to check them for worms and other illnesses. This tradition has changed a lot. Lambs used to be caught one by one, brought down to the boat by rope. Now, the biggest challenge is getting enough people to herd.
The sheep that come here year after year, and some are leaders, and they know the routine. Sometimes you come out, as soon as they see us coming up over the bank, they say, especially in the fall of the year, they almost come running to the chute because they know it's time to go home.
There was even a surprise today, what the farmers called bonus lambs, 2 newborns, maybe just a week old, first spotted today.
It's pretty cool to see that, that sheep had a set of twin lambs, healthy twin lambs out here, less than a week ago with no human intervention at all.
Keith's nephew, Matt, and his son, Liam, are part of the next generation.
It was just the way of life, so me committed to taking this over, it's always been, it's in my blood,
They say they're bucking the trend. They will keep this farming alive, even if fewer and fewer of their peers are interested. Garrett Berry, CTV News in Ship Island, Newfoundland and Labrador.
I love this entire process, and it is so nice, Gary, to hear that the next generation is there. Okay, on behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching. For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca and join us for your only late local newscast tonight at 11.